Hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to take a quick look at the Rubico sniper rifle. I never did a proper quick look for the Rubico when it first came out, and I think it's a good idea to at least check it out before the release of Plains of Eidolon because it's gonna be somewhat unique. It is not getting a headshot damage multiplier like the Vectis, Vulcar and the Snipetron. It's retaining the 35% bonus crit damage on the first zoom level and the 50% bonus crit damage on the second zoom level, though the zoom levels themselves will change. The first 5 times zoom will go down to 3.5 times and the 12 times zoom will go down to 6 times zoom. So while the effective range of the weapon is gonna be somewhat shorter than it is now, just like the other sniper rifles, which is one thing I find really odd about the sniper update, it's not going to be as harsh as it is with the other sniper rifles because you can still get the benefit of the scope while going for body shots. The weapon is also fairly cheap and easy to get. You simply purchase the blueprint from the market, which is going to cost you 20,000 credits, and then to build the weapon you have to put an additional 20,000 credits, 3,800 salvage, 1,300 polymer bundles, 900 rubido and 2 argon crystals. The Rubico is a semi-automatic sniper rifle that requires you to be at least mastery rank 5 to use it. It does 200 damage with each shot, 160 is impact, 30 is puncture and 10 is slash. It is an okay-ish 25% crit chance with a really good 300% crit multiply. It fires 1.5 rounds every second, though this is going to be buffed with Plains of Eidolon, so it's actually gonna have a fire rate of 2.67. It has 5 rounds in the magazine with a 3-second reload time and a fairly pitiful 5% status chance, though this doesn't really matter on a sniper rifle. The setup I decided to use on the Rubico is a pretty standard crit build where I've added 3 Vs and 2 dashes. And the mods I'm running are Serration for more damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, Point Strike for crit chance, Vital Sense for crit damage, then Fast Hands to bring down the reload speed at least a little bit, and finally I'm using Hellfire for heat damage and Infected Clip which combines with Stormbringer for corrosive damage. Versus the Infested, the weapon deals more than enough damage to take down even the toughest units in the Infested faction up to level 100, though as you saw right there, if you don't crit versus some of the beefier units, you're not going to kill them, which is not that big of a deal because you can just load another shot into them. Some of the Corpus units are a little bit tougher because they have a high amount of health, which this weapon isn't really that great at dealing with, but since it has a high amount of impact damage, you don't really need to swap around the corrosive and heat combo, because the high amount of impact damage will blast through all of their shields, usually in one shot if you crit. If you do get unlucky though, it may take 2 or 3. And finally we have the Grenier, which is the faction that I was most curious about because once Plains of Eidolon releases, we're gonna get the big open world where I would want to use the Rubico, and Grenier make like 99% of the population there. Though testing it against level 100 Grenier may be a little bit of an overkill because I don't think we're gonna get this high of a level in the Plains of Eidolon. Which is good because this is where the weapon ran into a bit of a wall. It just cannot deal with the high amounts of armor that heavy gunners, bombards, noxes and napalms have. I mean, you can take them down, it's just gonna take a while. It's a little bit better with a higher zoom level because you get more crit damage, but it's still nothing to write home about. Playing with Rubico feels very similar to playing with the Vulcar. I like that it has 5 shots in the magazine because if you don't kill an enemy, which will happen every now and then if you don't crit and you're going up against higher level enemies, you can just load another shot into them, which usually takes them down. It also sounds absolutely fantastic. You get this loud crackling boom every time you pull the trigger. So it feels really nice to play with. However, there are a couple of things that I also don't like about the Rubico, like the fact that the reload time is longer than the combo duration, so every time you have to reload, even with fast hands, you are going to lose your combo counter. And for me at least, the scope is very busy and distracting, but that's not that big of a deal because you can go into the options and turn it off. Though if you do that, you cannot see your combo counter anymore. And finally, right now, the zoom levels are far too strong and annoying to play with. They would have been fine in an open world area like Plains of Eidolon, but when Plains of Eidolon releases, the zoom levels are gonna be gutted, so it's gonna feel fine in the narrow corridors and small rooms, and it's gonna be far less effective in Eidolon, which this is why I don't really understand the reduction in zoom levels. But all in all, it is a very solid, cheap and easy to get sniper rifle, so if you're interested in the Rubico, you should definitely pick it up. Because while it doesn't deal with high-level Grineer as well as something like the Vectis Prime, it is still a lot of fun to use. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.